Lou Weiss, and Billy was one of my best friends. He's a great friend. He was like a brother. We did everything together. I met Billy in 1980 when I was a tennis pro at Westside Athletic Club. And he took a couple tennis lessons from me and found out I liked to fish. And for about 43 years we fished. We played golf. Well, I played golf. He didn't like golf that much. But we played tennis. We ran. We actually got Billy shooting shotguns, if you can believe that, shotgun sports. Billy and his mom, sometimes Sally and David and Judy would come over for numerous Thanksgiving, Christmas, and Easter dinners. And one Thanksgiving dinner, I'm sitting at the table and Mama Jay is looking over at me. She said, "Lou, why haven't you ever said thank you for all the caramel cakes? I said, what caramel cakes?" Well, she looks at Billy. I thought she was going to spank Billy. She looks at Billy, and Billy's like this, turned his head, and wouldn't even look at his mom. And she said, "Billy, you will never get another caramel cake unless you start giving the ones I make for Lou." So a few weeks goes by, and sure enough, I'm at the tennis courts. Billy comes in with a caramel cake, all wrapped up in tinfoil. And I'm thinking, wow, this is great. So anyway, I go home that night, and we eat dinner. I take the tinfoil out off the cake, and there's a huge slice. That was Billy's sense of humor. We never got a cake without a huge slice. It was great. If you notice that picture with Billy and Dolly, Billy loved to give names to his trucks, his boats, to his friends. His truck's name was Bubba, and the boat was Dolly Too Fine. Well, I called Billy up one day and I said, "Billy, how would you like to have that boat signed by Dolly Parton?" And he says, "You're kidding." And I said, "No, I'm not. One of our best friends is her manager and partner." So anyway, he comes up with the boat. It's the 50th anniversary of Dollywood. And we go and tow the boat over to Dollywood. We're escorted back to her tour bus. She comes out and she spends 45 minutes with Billy. I've never seen Billy happier. And he had every recording ever sung and written by Dolly Parton. He just loved Dolly. Billy was a competitor, as most of you all know, very competitive. I was hosting a tennis tournament at Nashville Village, and it was a doubles tournament. I said, "Billy, would you like to play with me?" And he wasn't keen on doubles that much. He liked to run singles. He didn't care for doubles. And he said, "Sure." And I said, "There's some pretty good teams in here. There's some college teams." And I said, we'll have some fun. So anyway, we get to the semifinals. And we're having to play Peter Van Lingen, who won several national, state, and local tournaments, along with his son, Van, who was playing at Ole Miss. And I didn't think our chances were too good, but you can never underestimate Billy. He was fired up. And we played the first set. We won the first 7-5. I said, "Billy, keep everything low. If I can coach, I'll try to end the point." He played great. He's serving in the second set. We're up 6-5. And he just looks at me and says, "I got this." And that's Billy. And he did. He served unbelievable, got everything back in play, and we won the match. After the match was over, I said, "Billy, that was awesome." He says, "Nothing was getting by me, not even Pistol Pete." And y'all can relate to those stories with Pistol Pete. Another story we have on tennis is he was playing a good friend of mine, one of my best friends, John Gray, and we gave names to each other. And John, would you stand? Sure. It was small, medium, and large. Billy was small, I was medium, and John was large. And Billy's playing John indoors at Westside. And Billy liked to be outside where it was 105. He didn't like the indoors. And John beats him pretty handily indoors. So Billy says, okay, John, tomorrow at Westmead at 1 o'clock. Well, that was fine, but it was going to be 105 degrees, one of the hottest days on record. So they play the first set, John wins. They play the second set, and John's up like 5-1, 5-2, serving. And it's like the electricity went off in John. He just died. Billy said, no, you can't forfeit. There's no forfeiting. So, anyway, he ends up winning the third set. He wins the second set 7-5, wins the third set 6-0. Poor John's over there in a pool of sweat, water. He has changed shirts about 5 times. And they get done with the match, and what does Billy do? He starts running wind sprints. That just really upset John. And after he runs the wind sprints, he decides he's going to run laps around all 4 tennis courts. So he does that for about a half hour. But, Billy was in incredible shape.
Right.
He was one of those players that he wanted it to go 3 sets.
Right.
He didn't want it to be 2. He wanted it to go 3. So if he split sets, he'd win 99% of the matches because he just outwear him. He'd just wear him down. But what a competitor. Incredible competitor. One other story I have is on Billy is golf. Billy was a great athlete, but he did not like golf. There was no movement. The ball's just sitting there. Anyway, we're playing one day out at Montgomery Bell State Park. And third hole, there's trees on both sides. Billy hits the first ball into the woods, gets another ball out of his pocket, hits the second ball in the woods, gets the third ball out of his pocket, hits that in the woods. Walks over, doesn't say a word, he gets his golf bag, brings it over to the tee, and dumps every ball on the tee box. He then hit every ball into the woods, and he said, I hope you tree gods are happy. That was Billy. He never said a word, wasn't cussing or anything. That was Billy. The other story we have on Billy is fishing. Billy and I lost a boat together. We were on the Caney Fork River, and we were catching trout. I had like a 15-foot John boat, and we were catching fish like crazy. And, I turn around, I hear this noise. They had opened the floodgates on us. And there was a pretty good sized wall of water, about 2 feet, and a John boat, that's a lot. So I'm trying to get away from the bridge pier on I-40. I couldn't do it. The water swept us into the bridge pier, took the boat, and then just flipped it up like this and bent it like a tin can. Billy was on one side. He had both life jackets. He threw me a life jacket. He bails out on one side of the bridge pillar. I bail out on the other side. And we didn't know what happened to each other. We ended up going downstream for a mile. The water temperature was 38 degrees. We ended up downstream about a mile. We finally were able to get out. And Billy is just exhausted. I mean, he is exhausted. We were lucky to live through that. We go back. We had to climb up the bridge pillar, and you had to jump up and sort of climb up. I jump up, and I see Billy going like this. He couldn't get up, so I had to jump back down, give him a boost up, and I climb back up, and we get on the interstate, and we look like 2 drowned rats. Well, anyway. I was a deputy sheriff at the time, and I had my badge out trying to get somebody to stop for us. Nobody would stop. I mean, I don't blame them. We looked horrible. But anyway, finally the state trooper comes, and he looks at us, and he says, what are you boys doing? I said, we just lost the boat. He says, yeah, but y'all are walking away from the ramp. You're going the opposite way. We got discombobulated, and we were going westbound instead of eastbound. So he gives us a ride back, and I said, Billy, that water's probably stable now. Maybe we can get the motor off the boat. Bad mistake. So anyway, we called this guy up, and he said, oh yeah, I've done this before. I'm thinking, oh, okay, we'll try it. So we go to the ramp, and he meets us, and he's in his old fiberglass boat with like a 75 horsepower motor on it. at it and I said, Billy, what do you think? He says, I don't know. Anyway, he and his son get out, and the next thing I know, he and his son are in a fist fight. I'm like, this isn't going very well. So anyway, he leaves, and the father says, get in. And I said, okay. So Billy and I get in, we go, and he starts the boat with a screwdriver. That's one indication that you shouldn't go. But he starts with the screwdriver, and we go down to the boat, and the water's calmed down, but there's still, I knew better. There's thousands of pounds of water pressure against that boat. He says, tie the rope to the boat, and I tied it to the front. He takes off upstream, and his steering cable breaks. So we have no steering, and we start going into the bridge pillar. And I reach out to try to keep us from crashing. My chest hit the bridge pillar. That's how much the fiberglass boat, flexed. We're taking on water in the back because the rope is tied to the boat. And Billy looks at me and says, I really don't want to go for another swim. I don't either, Billy. So I reached in, I grabbed the knife, and I cut the rope. But we still don't have any steering, so we're whirly-birding down the river. I said, Billy, hurry, get in the back, because we're about to hit the second bridge pillar. So we get in the back. I said, put your feet on one side, I'll be on the other side. So we steered the boat back 5 miles with our feet. And Billy, a few weeks later, I got another boat. I just don't give up. Neither does Billy. But I said, Billy, you want to go fishing on the Caney Fork? He said, no, I took a bath this week. I'm good. I said, I understand completely. But I'll tell you, Billy was a fantastic friend. We did so many things together for 43 years. And I hope today that you just keep those memories, the good memories that we had, and let them take away any of the sorrow or the pain we're feeling today. Can we say on 3, go Balls? No. 42. Go Balls! 42. Thank you.